Understanding Taxonomy, with me, Sam the Zoologist. Within biology, taxonomy is the science of classifying living and extinct organisms based on shared characteristics, such as their morphology and genetics. While animals and plants have been described and classified since antiquity, it wasn't until 1735 when the botanist Carl Linnaeus revolutionized taxonomy by creating a standardized binomial naming system, now known as binomial nomenclature. This system was creatively called Linnaean taxonomy. Its key feature was giving a unique scientific name to each group of organisms based upon the genus and species. This avoids confusing organisms together which have similar local names. An example of this is that the European robin is commonly called a red-breasted robin within the United Kingdom, while in Australia, the scarlet robin is known as a red-breasted robin. If it wasn't for the binomial naming system, these two species could be easily confused with each other in conversation and scientific reports. Linnaean taxonomy has evolved over time. With the publishing of Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species in 1859, organisms began to be classified on the basis of their evolutionary relationships. This evolution has continued into the modern form of taxonomy, which is increasingly based upon phylogenetics. Phylogenetics is the study of evolutionary history through the genetic relationships of groups and individuals. This allows us to produce a phylogenetic tree, a tree of life. In taxonomy, we organize organisms such as our red-breasted robins into different taxa. Each level of taxa is ranked to form a hierarchy, called a taxonomic rank. This hierarchy is formed of 8 major rankings. These are domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Or certain taxon can also contain subtaxa, such as class containing subclass and species containing subspecies. The rule to remember is that each taxon subsumes under it a greater description of the organism, while the rank above it describes a more general description. Let's go through the taxonomic rankings to understand exactly how this works. Within zoology, the most general taxonomic rank is called domain. Domain includes 3 types of organisms. The first is Archaea, single-celled microorganisms called prokaryotes. A key trait is that they don't possess a cell nucleus. The second type are bacteria, which are also prokaryotes. However, their evolutionary history differentiates them from Archaea due to differences in their genetic code of ribosomal ribonucleic acid, their rRNA, and their cell walls containing the polymer peptidoglycan. And the final group of organisms are eukarya, commonly called eukaryotes. These are cells which have a membrane-bound organelles, including the nucleus containing the cell's genetic material. The next taxonomic rank, and second highest, is called kingdom. The science gets a little grey here because there is no current scientific consensus on how many kingdoms exist, or even if the rank of kingdom is an accurate way of organising life at this level of evolutionary history. However, kingdom-level classifications of organisms is currently widely employed and useful, despite its perceived classification problems. The kingdoms presented to you here are based on the works of Renzaglia and others 2050. The domains of Archaea and bacteria continue into the kingdom rank, while eukarya diversify into Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, and Protista. Animalia comprises of all the animals we know and love, from the large charismatic blue whale to its minute burrowing parasites. What sets the kingdom of Animalia apart from the other kingdoms is their unique and common traits. Animals are unique in that they grow from a hollow sphere of cells called a blastula, and while not unique traits, all animals are heterotrophs, meaning they consume organic material to sustain themselves. They all breathe oxygen, and during a stage in their life they are motile, meaning they have the ability to move independently from metabolic energy. And finally, they are capable of sexual reproduction during some stage in their cycle. From Plantae sprouts plants and debatably some algae. These organisms are multicellular, possess a cell wall containing cellulose, and the majority are autotrophs, meaning they have the ability to generate chemical energy from their surrounding substances, most notably that of light, through the process of photosynthesis. Next, the amusing kingdom of fungi holds yeasts, molds, and mushrooms. While fungi are eukaryotes having a membrane-bound nucleus, they also possess a cell wall. This historically placed them into the same kingdom as plants. However, what sets a fungi apart is the presence of chitin within their cell walls. Chitin is the same long-chain polymer which produces the exoskeleton of crustaceans, such as crabs and lobsters. Fungi differ even more from plants. Like animals, they cannot photosynthesize, and instead are heterotrophs, relying on using enzymes to digest edible material. Finally, we have the lonely Protista, commonly known as Protozoa. While there has been heated scientific debate about if Protista can even be treated as a taxon in itself, phylogenetic analysis of this group commonly excludes many unicellular species. Instead, this kingdom is commonly treated as a catch-all term for all eukaryotes that do not possess a cell wall and are never multicellular. However, this taxon is likely to change in the future as new data may necessitate reclassification. Phylum is the next level of taxonomic hierarchy. However, organisms begin to become so diversified at this stage that covering all organisms within this taxon is beyond the scope of this video. After phylum, organisms are organized by class, then order, then family, then genus, and finally by species. To show how this works, let's go back to our friends from earlier, the red-breasted robins. The European robin is outlined in blue, while the scarlet robin is outlined in red. Their shared evolutionary history will be outlined in purple, while their independent evolutionary history will be outlined in their respective colours. We begin in domain, the broadest of all the taxonomic rankings. Both robins, being eukaryotes, are in the domain Eukarya. Within the ranking of kingdom, each of our eukaryotes has the traits of those found within the kingdom of Animalia. This surprisingly makes both our robins animals. Within phylum, both our animals have a dorsal nerve cord surrounded by a notochord, which has become a spinal column. This means both our robins are placed into the phylum Chordata. Now that our robins have a backbone, we can move on to the taxon class. Both these vertebrates are endothermic, meaning they maintain their body temperature by internal bodily functions. These animals also both have feathers, toothless beaks, 4-chambered hearts, and a lightweight but strong skeleton. This means they both belong in the class Aves. Aves coming from Latin, meaning birds. Next is the taxon order. Both birds belong to the order Passeriformes. This order includes more than half of all known birds and is the most diverse order of all terrestrial vertebrates. Birds are placed within this order if they have 3 toes pointing forwards and 1 toe pointing backwards. This allows them to perch, and is why Passeriformes are known as the perching birds. By reaching the next taxon, our 2 red-breasted robins now diverge into separate families. The robin in blue is placed within the family Musicapidae. The robin in red is placed within the family Petricidae. Historically, these 2 birds were both placed within the family Musicapidae. However, recent genetic testing has shown that birds from the family Petricidae diverged genetically from birds within the family Musicapidae around 44 million years ago. Now, our red-breasted robin in blue is placed within the genus Erithecus. This gives us the start of our binomial name, while travelling to species gives us our second part. This means our robin in blue is scientifically called Erithecus rubicilla. Meanwhile, our scarlet robin is placed within the genus Petrorica, and then the species Boudin. This creates its binomial name Petrorica boudin. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked this video and enjoyed learning about taxonomy. If you'd like more information, please check out the sources below.